Welcome to Voices of Ability, the show dedicated to raising awareness, fostering understanding, and promoting inclusion for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, or IDDs. I'm your host, Haley Eitzen.
And I'm George Vogel.
And together we'll explore the diverse experiences, challenges, and triumphs faced by individuals with IDDs, as well as the families, caregivers, and advocates who support them.
Each episode, we'll dive into the stories that highlight the unique struggles of living with an IDD, whether it's navigating education, healthcare, employment, or daily life. But more importantly, we'll celebrate the incredible strength, resilience, and ability of these individuals and break down the barriers that exist in our communities.
Join us as we talk to experts, self-advocates, families, and allies who are all working toward a world where everyone, regardless of ability, can thrive. Whether you're here to learn, to share, or to find solidarity, you're in the right place. This is a space for growth, for understanding, and for change.
So let's get started and open up the conversation about IDDs, inclusion, and the importance of creating a more accessible world for all. And we'll do that by introducing our new guest. Hold on. Folks, still working on this. Haley Phelps.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Haley and I spell our names the same, which is really
Haley,
fun.
same spelling.
That's actually,
Love
before we
it.
knew that you were involved in the community at all, we were like, a Haley that spells it with as an EY at the end? Get her on the show now.
Yeah, another Haley with the same spelling.
That's actually the only
Perfect.
qualifications you guys are looking for. It's just the same name as Haley and spelled the
Our
same.
vetting process is not fleshed out yet.
You made the
We're
requirements.
working on it. Okay, cool.
Well, I guess first off, how are you doing? How's it going today, Haley?
I'm doing good. I am a little tired, but I'm having a good week. I've been very productive at work, so I think I'm just more mentally drained. But it feels good, like coming back to work and just like being able to knock some stuff out, you know. So yeah, but I'm feeling really good.
Awesome.
Yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you.
Oh,
Love
thanks,
it.
guys.
How are you doing, Haley? How's it going?
I'm doing great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're also a little bit tired. We just came back from a long.
yes,
from
I'm
a road
exhausted,
trip, but
Oh yeah, Lodi yesterday. That's
yes.
Yeah.
How far away is that?
Uh-huh.
That was like, what, 3 hours?
Yeah, it was 3
Something
hours
like-
drive there and back. And
Yeah,
we
like 3 hours there.
Yeah.
saw a
3
movie
hours one way.
premiere. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And we
maybe don't
we
talk about it too much because spoilers.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
I brought it
Just
up. So
a movie.
Yeah, we saw a movie.
A movie.
Well, I wasn't going to talk about the movie, but I was just going to say that it was a long day because we still had a program day, and then straight from there we left.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we
Yes.
left at like 2, got back at like 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. It's a
Yeah.
long night, long day.
Long day. It was so much fun though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
So Miss Haley, this Haley. Oh, this is gonna be a fun.
I know. I was waiting for
We're
it
going
when
to
it was
figure
going
out
to
how to
happen.
differentiate.
Yeah.
Okay. Haley I knew you first, so you're Haley 1. You're
Works.
Haley 2.
Okay.
Okay,
That
Haley
works.
2.
Okay.
Okay, that's me, Haley too.
I love this.
We're gonna have lots of laughs.
Yeah.
I'm such
That's
a
what
laugher.
we're all about here. This
Yeah.
is what the podcast is all about.
That's how you,
Okay, good.
So Haley number 2.
Yes.
Speaking of work, where do you work?
I work for Central Valley Regional Center, which is the 5th largest regional center in the state of California, which is awesome. And I am our communications and public relations specialist. And I've been there for about 6 months. So I am very, very new to this industry. I do not have a background in social work or in, I won't say, a little bit in advocacy, but not for developmental disabilities. You know what I mean? And so it's been such a learning curve and such a great way. I was very upfront when I had my interviews with my now team of, hey, I don't know half of the things that you guys are already talking about, but I'm willing to learn and I want to learn and I'm excited to be here and my biggest thing is I just want to help people. I don't know in what capacity that means. And I know that it'll change throughout my entire life. And so before this, I was working for a different nonprofit within the business community. And so it was really about helping small businesses. And so I enjoyed that, like the nonprofit, kind of work lifestyle. It's definitely very different. And then decided I wasn't as fulfilling and rewarding as I wanted it to be. And then CVRC and I just kind of got matched up, and it's been so fun. I'm just trying to be a sponge and
Yeah.
learn absolutely everything that I
Yeah.
can, because I'm very, I'll walk with my tail in between my legs to my bosses or service coordinators or whoever it is, and just be honest. I'm like, I don't know what this is. Can you please let me know? And can we talk about this? Because I would like to know and learn. But I don't want to lead people on into thinking that I know more than I actually do. But even within the 6 months, it feels like I've been there for like years now.
Yeah.
And I still don't know everything. I'm not going to know everything ever. But it's a lot of information at once that I'm being told, and then we're practicing it, or I'm, being able to kind of exercise what I'm being taught, so it's been a really, really fun ride. Just a lot of learning, which my notes look crazy. They are chicken scratch.
Are you a good note taker?
I am a good note taker, but if I showed you my notes, you guys would be like,
you can understand them.
I can understand them.
That's for you.
Exactly. So that's what I do. I do social media communications, both internally and externally. I plan all of our events, anything that has to do with public relations. So, for example, one of our individuals from our Merced office, he was picked by Governor Gavin Newsom as the individual to light up the tree during Christmas, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, I saw that video.
Yeah, it was really awesome. So I was able to work with DDS on like coordinating, okay, let's figure out how we can get, his name was Carter, let's figure out how we can get Carter and you guys to meet up, where that's going to be. Let's get you in contact with the family. Let's work on a press release together. Let's send this out to all of the local media outlets, and then you guys are going to handle it with the Sacramento area, since obviously I don't know anything about Sacramento. So things like that, but it's really fun. I feel like I found my happy place, which is really awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say,
Sorry, that could have been more than you asked for.
Oh no, that's
perfect.
Hey, that's lovely.
Okay.
First off, I gotta say, like when we first asked you to be a guest on here, I don't think I think we assumed like, oh, this person's like knows what's up. You hold yourself with such confidence.
Thank you.
Like,
I appreciate that.
So
Yes.
I met you at least. I don't remember. I think we met.
Haley and I met once before I met you, George, because the three of us all kind of connected about this podcast at our legislative breakfast, which is the event that I planned.
Yes.
But before that, where were we? It was Senator Grove's. She had an event. Kind of like an open house. I think it was an open house.
That's right.
At her office,
yes,
her district
that's
office.
That's right.
And so we were able to connect there, and I had met Pam from CVS just a couple of times, maybe even just once, or talked to her once. And so then after, it was a couple of different vendors of ours, we all kind of went out and got dinner at Elbow Room, and so we all were just able to like hang out.
That was so much fun.
I think it was Kingsview was there. Some other people. It was just really fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah, it was just like so random.
It was a good time.
But it was a good time. We all just got to hang out and eat and just chat about what we wanted. And that's when we first brought up, we have our legislative breakfast. And then I think I gave some of you guys the invitations for them, because I went and dropped them off at all the vendors that we invited. I dropped them off a little invite, and I did the same with our senators and assemblymen and women that are in our catchment area. And so I think I gave it to a couple of them that night, but I think I dropped off Pam's later. But anywho, so that's how Haley and I met at first. But then we connected at the legislative breakfast, which I'm glad is behind me, because it was a lot. But I am very, very happy with how it turned out. It was like 3 to 4 months of a lot of planning, and I'm very detail oriented, and sometimes it kind of kicks me in the butt because it can be a little too detail oriented. But I'm very happy with how that went. I think it was, and I didn't know what it looked like before that, so I kind of went into it blind. But I think that's the best way to learn, is just kind of jumping into the deep end, and figuring out how to swim. So
Well, I gotta say, it again. This is why I was assumed like, oh, she's.
I know when you guys asked me, I was like, I'm so honored, and then I was instantly mortified because I don't know a whole lot, and I'm very open and honest with that. I'm learning. I'm a quick learner. I retain information well, but I was just, oh no, I've only been here 6 months.
you got us both excited when saying that, because we were like, oh, like, okay, we can get a fresh perspective.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Like, I don't know. I've loved getting. I mean, because I sort of relate with you. I'm
Yeah.
relatively new. This is my second year in.
Oh, really? George, I
yeah.
would have guessed that you've been in this for like at least 5-10 plus years. So you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You guys are both just so great. Both so great at your jobs.
Haley. Stop.
Yeah.
Okay, but keep
Deeply
going.
appreciate both of you.
Oh, ditto. Okay. Sorry, you were saying, George.
What I was saying. What was I saying?
You were here. You've only been here for 2 years.
I've only been
Yeah.
here for 2 years, and then just have been kind of sprinting forward, going, "This is great."
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's my point being, I relate with that.
Yes,
you know,
100%.
So I was like, oh, it'll be cool to get someone who's like
Yeah.
where I was like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Except you clearly have a lot of experience with nonprofits and like
Yeah.
all of the
Event
the
planning and
business
comms, that's kind of my sweet spot. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
The legislative breakfast. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. And what
Yeah, I'd
that
love
was.
to.
Yeah. What was it? You're going to be able to explain that a lot better than I. What
Absolutely.
was legislative breakfast?
So our legislative breakfast that CVRC, which stands for Central Valley Regional Center, so I make that clear for everybody. So CVRC is they hold a legislative breakfast every year. We invite all of the senators and the assemblymen and women, any other, kind of at a state level legislators. Sometimes we invite, more local. And so it kind of just differs every year. So we're still figuring things out. I mean, this was my first year doing it. But so we invite all of them with that. Their district overlaps with our catchment area. So Central Valley Regional Center, we serve Fresno, Merced, Madera, Kings, Tulare, and Mariposa counties. So any of those legislators whose district falls into that category, into the same area, we invite them. The whole point is to explain to them who CVRC is, what we do, why what we do is so important, and how critical this agency is, not just to the employees and the individuals here, also to the vendors and their individuals, and also just for example, our florist that I had as not a vendor, that how CVS is a vendor, but a vendor as I purchased a service from them, right?
Yes.
Okay. I had to kind of make the difference because I talk about it with people and they're like, wait, they're a vendor? And I'm like, no, different kind of vendor, but yes.
They're not selling stuff there. They're people who are serving it. Yeah.
Yes. So I was explaining to her when we first met on the phone and just like, hey, this is what we do. This is what I'm looking for. This is my price range. She asked me to go a bit more into depth about what CVRC is. And so I then gave her the full spiel. And she was so excited, and she had no idea that there was anything like that in our area, which 7 months ago before I started this job, I would have been the same way. I would have been, oh my gosh, we have that. That is so cool. I want to learn more. Versus now, I want to scream it from the rooftops. How do people not know about this? How do we change that? Because this is so key and it's just amazing. But I was explaining to her and she said, oh, I actually teach, I guess probably 5-year-olds to, 13, 15-year-olds after school program. And I teach them digital design and all this stuff. And sometimes parents come to me and I don't know where to turn them to because I don't know. So this is really cool. Would you be able to give me some more information about, how to get them connected and started? And I was like, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I love this. I was like, I don't think this is part of my job, but it's going to be part of my job now. I don't care. So it was really, really cool. Just how those small of interactions and how it was completely unexpected. Something that small, something we talk a lot about at work, which we're big on our culture for staff, just because, it starts with us in terms of making sure that our individuals are well taken care of. They are given all of the resources. They're given all the services. They ensure that, all of their paperwork's good and we're getting reimbursements back from the state, all that stuff. And so, the way I like to look at it is, you can't love and take care of others if you're not loving and taking care of yourself. I'm really big with mental health and mental health advocacy because of just personal experiences I've had and friends. And so that is something that's near and dear to my heart. And so with the culture, and now I'm kind of forgetting why I brought this up. But anywho,
What was it?
I was there. I'm sorry.
What the legislative breakfast is. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so with what our legislative breakfast is. So with that, and I'm kind of going off topic again. I
You're good.
apologize.
Hey, that's
how we work.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is what we're all about.
My ADD brain is going like.
You are in good company.
Yes,
Thanks for that.
yeah.
I'm not alone.
We should not be on a podcast together. Is what I'm learning.
What? How did this even happen?
I mean, we'll be able to understand what's going on, maybe. But
Everyone else is like, are they okay? Like, do we need to call somebody?
They're talking about helping people. They need help.
They're like, are we sure we trust them to help others? But sometimes that's the best. That's the best to do. That's the best way to do it. Okay. But anywho, now I'm trying to remember why I brought up culture because it was going to tie back into what I was saying. My deepest apologies.
You're good.
Anywho, legislative breakfast. So, it's close. It's so close.
Okay.
It's right there.
Anywho, I'm going to get back to legislative breakfast. If that comes up, great. If it doesn't, that's
sweet.
cool.
Yeah.
But legislative breakfast was something that I thought was really cool was our executive director had an idea of, hey, we should show our legislators how many individuals that we serve fall into their district. So we were able to pull all of our reports and do all of that. I mean, it was not me. We have somebody for that. So I'm very thankful because I would not be able to do it. But we were able to pull all that information. I made it look all pretty in an email, but I was able to see each legislator that we invited, how many individuals that we serve fall in their area and be like, hey, 700 or 5,000 of our individuals are in your district.
Yeah.
Like, this is so important that, you know what we do and we continue to keep our relationship alive with you and we stay communicating and interconnected and all that stuff. I don't know if interconnected is a word. I think I'm thinking of integrated, intertwined. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, kind of the same word, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I just make up words as we go. It's cool.
Interspecturated. Yep. That's.
You just talking about
for
a
sure.
word you made up earlier before podcast? I don't remember.
Wait, did you
I don't
guys
remember
watch
what it was,
Phineas and Ferb?
You are in
Maybe.
such good company.
Thank
by the
you.
way.
Okay.
I really brought you to know that. We are so similar.
As soon as you said that, I was thinking of when they didn't know what the word of an aglet was, and then they A-G-L-E-T. Don't forget it. I don't know why that happened.
Why are you making me remember my childhood right now?
Right? Me too.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Everyone's gonna hate this.
What
That's
was
okay
it?
though.
What was an aglet?
It's the tip of the shoelace.
The tip of the shoelace.
That's like the
Right.
plastic
the pointy part. Yeah.
I
will never forget
then,
that.
and I hate it now.
Oh, I love it only because of Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah. I mean, the show's great. You know.
It
And
is.
it's also just a fun word. It sounds funny. Aglet.
What was that? There must be a platypus in here. Anyway.
What?
Did you hear it? That was genuinely so good. I thought you pressed a button. That was wild. I don't know why. And then I think of different words, and he's like, a platypus. And he's
Platypus?
like, as soon as the hat goes on, like he didn't. What other platypus is coming to you? Like, come on.
Gosh, this. All right, we're changing
Sorry.
the name. Voices of Phineas and Ferb. You know, this is become a Phineas and Ferb appreciation podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we made Sadie laugh. We got our audience members laughing.
Sadie. They're both. He's like, what?
Ulysses, did you watch Ulysses, our editor? Did you watch Phineas and Ferb? Yes, we're getting a yes. All right.
Sadie, did you watch Phineas and Ferb?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phineas and Ferb crew.
They're gonna.
Yep.
That's actually the title of today's podcast.
Yeah.
Is
They're
Phineas
gonna
and Ferb.
copyright it.
Yep.
and
Voice impressions.
None of this is gonna
Exactly.
be usable. So.
What?
No, they're gonna
Oh yeah, they're gonna
copyright
for
it.
sure copyright us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just cut that whole part out. That's just for us.
Okay.
Yeah. Anywho, so that's what the legislative
chaotic over
breakfast
here.
is for.
What we do?
To reiterate,
a little bit-
they should not have put us in a room together.
Right. It was cool though because it really the whole purpose of it is to just really explain to our legislators who have power at the state level, who determine our funds and determine kind of what can happen with the regional center system and what can happen with rate reform and all that good stuff. It's cool because we just get to show them all of the amazing individuals that we get to serve, and I wish we could show all 30,000 plus that we serve, but we also get to show them what kind of services, what, who is our population? Do we only service people that have autism? No, like we actually, it's any developmental disability. And, you meet all the requirements, all that good stuff. And, Down syndrome, and, if you have epilepsy and, there's a bunch of other things, and I could kind of go into detail on that. I'm still learning. I just had a really great presentation and kind of working lunch with one of my team members about learning more about that process of who we serve and how to meet those qualifications, and going through the intake process, what that looks like. Because it's a lot. There's so much that goes into it. Our intake team is really awesome, and we have so many people every day. And ever since COVID, it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And we are having growing pains. We're trying to figure out how to keep up. Which is a very honest, very transparent of like what we're dealing with internally. But the best thing is that all of us at the end of the day, we know our goal, and it's really just because we want to help individuals and families of ours, and individuals and families that aren't ours yet, that we know will be, that they're in that intake system. Or, I have people on my, I'm teammates with, and there are outreach coordinators and our cultural and diversity, outreach coordinators, which is really, really cool. Natasha and Rosario, they're amazing, and their whole job, not, it's not the only thing they do, but a big part of their job is to go to those resource fairs, go to, different events, different schools, and give them information, and just make people aware of what we offer, what it is we do, who we are, where our locations are. We have 3 offices, which whenever I tell people, we technically have 4, but one is an admin building. It's very new. But whenever I tell people that, I've even told like my family members, we actually have an office in Visalia and we have an office in Merced. And they're like, I thought you guys only had one here. And I was like, I don't know how that would have worked, because there's literally 30,000 people that we serve. And I was Mariposa even. Sometimes it's wild to me that that's part of us, because that's even still kind of a stretch from Merced. But then it makes me think back to the regional center system as a whole. Literally every inch and foot of California is covered by a regional center, which is so cool. And, your IPP, that is actually what I've been told, is that that's a contract with the state, which no other state does that anymore. So really California, and something I've been told by friends, family members, other people that are clients of the regional center, they can't imagine moving out of the state. We can't, why doesn't every state have something equivalent at this kind of level, and with this kind of foundation, which I think is really cool, because California is already pretty cool, but throw that in there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody should be moving here, even though we're overpopulated probably, but because it's getting really crowded. But I just think that's really cool. But yeah, legislative breakfast went great. 4 months of my life planning over. Great. Well, sorry, I just rambled on. Cut me off. You're good. At any point.
You're good. I'm sitting back here and I'm going, I don't have to. Oh man, this is great.
I'm a yapper. I'll talk away. So
Absolutely. Well, I really gotta mention. I'm basically going to be repeating what you just said about what I appreciated about it so much. I mean, so much of our goal is bringing. There's a lot that we want to bring to light and talk about here on the podcast, but like bringing awareness is huge, especially to people who aren't in this community. We want to bring this community into the light and really showcase how awesome it is and showcase and
the love it deserves.
And
from people that aren't in the community or have a tie to it necessarily.
And what I appreciated so much was where you were showing how many people were served. You did a great job. You guys did a great job at putting that into perspective, like how substantial this population is. And you got both perspectives of you showed the wide perspective, showed how many people, know, and how vast that is. But also you guys made sure to narrow it down and showcase how amazing each specific individual is. I don't know their names, but 2 of the individuals performed a song there.
That was from the Creative Center. They're awesome. awesome individuals, and the Creative Center, shout out to them. They were just so excited. And so you need any other performances, you need anything else, you let us know. We will be there. And as an event planner, that's just always a dream to work with vendors like that.
Yes.
But just, they're just an amazing, not as an event planner, they're just an amazing organization, and what they do there is really awesome. And so my background, I have a bachelor's in graphic design, and I really enjoy creative arts, and and I used to be a cheerleader and like a dancer for like 12, 13 years of my life. I did it collegiately, and it's like my love. I actually coach on the side. But
Awesome.
yeah, it's really fun.
That's fun.
It definitely, I finally remembered what it was that I was going to say.
Here we go.
Here we go. Let's dim the light. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Can I do it?
He's like, no, George is trying to figure it out. But okay, so
I could figure it out.
with what we talk a lot about at work, because we're big on our culture there about, making sure that we can help other people, is depositing back into your deposits and withdrawals out of your emotional bank account, which I think is a really interesting concept, because, if your emotional bank account, so I think of it as like your heart, if your heart's empty because you're not putting anything into it, or other people aren't putting anything into it, then how do you expect to keep pulling out and it be substantial?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And give to others.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I brought that up when I was talking about legislative breakfast, but it just, that phrase came to mind of that emotional bank account.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. But
That's good.
yeah, sorry. I just finally remembered. And now I don't remember what else
I think at one point you were talking about mental health at one point. Yeah.
Thank you. I did it. Let's get some confetti.
Yeah. Maybe I'll put a bit in post.
But yeah, so I'm really big on the mental health aspect, and I think especially I'm so excited to learn more both today and like as I continue to grow with CVRC and just the rest of my life, how that also the mental health plays into this community as well. Yeah. Because I just think that this community is so easily pushed to the side or forgotten, or just, they're different, so, they don't experience things. Like, they don't, when that's couldn't be farther from the truth, because they are just 100%, anybody with a developmental disability is still a person. Yep. They're still a human. They still have feelings. Yep. And those feelings could be good, bad, ugly, fun. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And you have to figure out how to feel all of your feelings, which is really hard just to do in general. Yeah. For anybody. So, but yeah, that's what I was getting to. Yeah, full circle moment. Perfect. Yeah.
Beautifully put. Yep.
Thank you.
And you said 6 months you've been in this community, and like that is that's it right there. I think that's the ticket. As far like any success I've had in being able to connect with the individuals we serve and really be effective in helping them grow. Yeah. Like, and just making meaningful like emotional impacts and just making them enjoy their life and their day better. That's it right there. Yeah. Is having that perspective of not viewing them as different, viewing them as the same. We've talked a whole bunch about this. This is kind of like the theme.
We
really,
this is number one theme right there. That's the big theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were talking yesterday, Haley, about like what the line is with, I'm just going to present what we were talking about and toss it over to Haley and see what her thoughts are. Cause we didn't land on a specific spot with it.
Okay.
Out of here.
Sadie just watched that and was just like,
I almost killed Sadie just now.
With a paper cut in the forehead or something. Paper cut. Oh no.
I almost gave Sadie a haircut just now.
Imagine if that worked.
Yesterday we talked about the line between like authenticity and not treating anyone differently. Yeah. And also like meeting someone where they're at, you know, because
Yeah.
a lot of the individuals we serve, you know, like you do kind of have to pivot and adjust when you're speaking with them. So like, where's the line with that? Like how do we figure out what is respectful? What is, you know, so yeah, I'd love to get your thoughts
take on
that.
it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if this is wrong of me, but, and if it is, I apologize, but I don't know, I go, and it, on the podcast we were talking about earlier that we love.
Oh, yes.
It kind of got brought up. And so that's kind of been in my head recently of, there was a story on this podcast of, quick example, quick backstory of, you know, somebody coming out to their parents and their father didn't really make a big deal out of it and was just, okay, like, you know, this is great. I love you. Everything's cool, but there's no need to make a big deal out of this because, you know, I'm not going to treat you any differently than I would my other kids.
Yeah.
And so, and that kind of stuck with me because then they started talking about, and I then started relating it back into work of, you know, where is that line of treating somebody differently and meeting them where they're at, but also just being authentic and treating them like a human. Yeah. And I think you already said it, at least what I think is literally just meeting them where they're at. I think that's the most human thing you can do because, I mean, going back to the mental health aspect is you never know what somebody's going through. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. And so, again, with meeting them where they're at, I think as long as we're approaching everybody genuinely and you're being your true authentic self and you're being kind and you're being respectful, then at that point, that's how I'd want to be treated. And it's such a fundamental, like elementary thing that we learn.
Yeah.
But it's so true. And I bring it back into everyday stuff is like, you know, I mean, when was I taught that? I was taught that in like third grade, I feel like second grade, first grade of, you know, just treat others the way you want to be treated. But it's like, you know, that doesn't mean you're going to, you know, if meeting them where they're at, you're not going to, you're not going to, you know, go off and expect them to be a lot further or a lot more back than, you know, just you kind of have to have those social cues and kind of figure it out. And I'm a big person on like everything and everyone is a case by case basis. Like it is, it depends, you know, everything in life. I'm always like, well, it depends. Like I need all the backstory and I need all of the previous information. Like I'm very personable, so I like to know everything about them, and then I can make a decision or something like that.
Yeah. That's good.
So I think the key is just meeting them where they're at and not treating them any differently. But, you know, if they need accommodations, if they need, you know, it takes them maybe a little bit longer to understand what you're saying, then, you know, don't get frustrated with repeating yourself because if you're going to keep engaging in that conversation, you know, that's kind of my thoughts. But
I love it.
Thanks.
I feel like
Haley, you haven't talked at all. I've just been like yapping away. But
no, this is good. I love it. I am taking it all in. All that you're saying. I love it.
No, fantastic.
That's a hard thing to kind of find where to land on that because it feels like an impossible question, but it's not.
That was a tough question.
As long as you just
out of the park, hit the lights. You know, you're chilling. So
as long as you just remember, treat everyone with kindness. You know, that's the basis.
Yeah.
It's literally so important. The most important thing.
I brought it up multiple times now. Like my failings when I was in high school. You know, in how I had individuals that were my friends in high school who had IDDs, and I wasn't treating them with the respect that they deserved. You know, I was treating them very differently, you know, than I would treat everyone else. And I want to keep, I want to make sure that perspective gets out there. Yeah. And just, you know, I think it's important for people to know that like, hey, like this is, whether you're a good person, you know, it's not like we're all great people necessarily, you know, we're just people who have been exposed, you know, and you and me very recently, you know,
and it's like I had that exposure in school too, and I'm very grateful that where I went to even elementary school, junior high, high school, I was in Clovis Unified, very much integrated anybody with IDDs into the general classroom. Like I was exposed to that at a younger age, so it's never been anything, you know, it wasn't, I think, super different because I was like, this is a normal.
Yeah.
And then going to college and then like learning that there's some people that just like don't know how to act around people that are different, whether it's a physical disability or a mental one.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, I don't know what to do. And it's like, why don't act any different? It's all good. Like, you know, and I think that's part of, you know, having to learn how to deal with, at least my assumption would be dealing with that uncomfortableness, and learning how to kind of face it head on. Cause I feel like sometimes that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But, I'm not in your shoes. And so I could never understand that, and I won't ever try to understand that because I think that'd be crazy too. But I mean, just kudos to you, Haley, and anybody with any sort of mental or physical disability that may have to endure some of that awkwardness. I deal with a lot of anxiety. I deal with severe anxiety, and so sometimes awkward situations can make me feel, you know, too awkward, and it can like set things into a spiral.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So
are we the same person?
We might be the same person.
Okay.
I think we're like long lost brother sister, honestly. Like I'm like, was there like a switched at birth moment that happened? Wasn't there a show at one point too?
I did. Well, I mean, when I was born, I did fall into a basket and float down the river, and then, you know, so so they could have been, you know,
stork.
Could have been,
my stork went the wrong way.
Yeah,
so.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. But seriously, Haley, just kudos to you, because I feel like the way that you handle yourself and the way that you have decided to turn everything that you've done in your life into such a passion and a positive thing, when a lot of people can turn that into a negative.
Yes.
That's to me, the epitome of success, because
Thank you so much.
That's what life's all about, is trying to figure out how to like adapt and overcome, and how to make the best out of the cards you've been dealt, because you can't choose a lot of things. You don't choose where you come from. You don't choose for a long time where you live. You don't choose how you were born, what you were born with, what family you were born into. Yeah. But what you can do is figure out how to move forward from it and how to, you know, use it. So
well,
just props to you, girl.
Thank you so much.
You're
that
welcome.
means so much to me.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we're forced to learn how to adapt in this world and this society, but my dream for this podcast is to get others to adapt to us. Yeah. You know, to get that knowledge out there of what we go through as disabled people, and get, you know, help people. I don't want to say get them. Help people to adapt to us.
So, question based on that, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I don't know what time we have to be out of here.
We're mad like chilling till 2? Here. Because we started a little bit late. So
okay.
I'd say we got about like 20 or so minutes.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Because again, I like to be a sponge. I like learning things, especially when it comes to all this good stuff. If you don't mind or are comfortable with kind of a day-to-day of like what you maybe the good moments of, you know, some very positives, like whether somebody's just, you know, treating you like a normal person and that's such a win, or a negative of the complete opposite of that, just kind of like day-to-day of what you have to go through. And you also don't have to share that.
No, I'm an open book.
Yeah, I'm an open book too. So,
this podcast is my dream, because I want to get that knowledge out. I want to get that awareness out there, and you know, so I love to be an open book. And I love how this turned into we're asking you questions, interviewing you, and you're asking us questions. I love it. This is great. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so you want me to, you're asking me to go through like the successes and like
just like
kind of
a day to day, like what are things that you have to endure day to day of like other people that aren't in your circle of support and that aren't, you know, they don't know you, and whether they treat you differently or they treat you with the utmost respect, or, you know, things just like the hardships and the wins of, you know, your disabilities, and like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I'll start with a small one. I've had to tell each coach that I'm with that I need help getting up a curb. There's things as simple as that, you know? Curbs are not my friend.
Yeah, curbs are those damn curbs.
Tripping me up all the time. Um,
I'm gonna look weird at curbs now, just for you.
Yeah.
That way they feel it.
Yes. Please.
Yeah, give them a dirty look.
Yes.
That's if there's a message we want to get out there. on
Give
voices of
curbs
ability.
dirty looks.
Yeah.
Run them over.
Make them
hit them
shorter,
with your
please.
car.
Yeah. Let's kick curbs to the curb. You know what I'm saying?
That's the title of this
love it.
episode.
Yes,
Let's kick
that's
curbs to the curb.
Beautiful, Jordan. I
Yeah.
love that.
That's gonna be if we get
Perfect.
merch or anything at any point. That's
Oh my
the first
gosh,
thing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
kick curbs.
I love that.
Curb. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you gotta- you gotta-
Sorry, this is probably kind of a hard question.
This is kind of a one to think about. Yeah.
Sure.
I think, that's like the first one that just came to mind because that's
probably
one
like a daily.
that's a
That
daily one.
is
Yeah,
100%
that
a
happens all the
daily,
time. Yeah, every
Mhm.
day.
yeah.
But yeah, and well, for me, being physically disabled, it's a lot of that. It's mobility and a lot of things that I struggle with, and that the normal person doesn't.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just getting around and taking breaks if we're going somewhere and walking around a lot.
Yeah.
Just taking a break. Stairs. I don't like stairs.
I hate the stairs.
I don't like stairs.
I don't know many people that do like them in
Yeah.
general.
Stairs are just like a bunch of curbs,
Yes.
It's on top of
But-
each other.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's wow.
Yeah.
It's kind of deep.
I'm really wise.
That was really deep. That was like
deep.
shower thoughts level of deep. You know what I mean?
It really
Like,
was. That really
with
was.
The backwards just.
I'm a wise guy. Hold on.
That was giving iCarly,
that was
honestly.
perfect.
Sorry.
That is the iCarly applause. That's like
We're gonna have to bleep
Yes.
we're gonna have to bleep out all of the
Gosh.
things that we've said
That's
that
been in, like-
that are copyrighted.
like maybe like a sitcom, a kid's sitcom on TV when like one of the like fan favorite characters walks in like,
And they're-
oh hey guys, I got a good bowl of soup here. And they
or
gotta-
the woo!
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm really just here for a good time, guys.
Oh, yeah, so are we.
Yeah. There-
Anywho.
Yeah. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does, because like to me, curbs not an issue. Stairs,
Yeah.
they're not curbs to me.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, no,
It's not-
those are curbs. But
you were telling me the other day about how just like whenever you walk in somewhere, you have to you have to consider like, okay, is there handicap seating? Like, is there going to be a
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
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 does that ever? Sorry, can I ask another question?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm like, does that ever get like kind of exhausting of like having to not think ahead, but like think about all of these things in regards to your mobility?
See, I pause because I don't know how to answer that because on one hand, yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's all I've ever known.
Yeah,
I
that's
haven't
yeah.
really had a chance to not, I mean, I've never known any difference.
Yeah.
So it's not like I,
Have experience. Yeah.
have experienced otherwise,
Yeah.
so of anything different. But I mean, yeah, it does. Because, at the same time, I do see like, the average person, the, able-bodied person.
Yeah.
And, I see what they do. And then I'm like, it does get exhausting sometimes when, I have to take breaks or, I have to take the elevator. And I mean, well, I'm okay with taking the elevator because I don't want to tackle the stairs. But that's okay with me. But
That was so real. That was so real.
Elevators are like,
they're great.
There's stairs like younger brother that's like, hey, I know that guy's a jerk, but like, here, just come on over here. We'll hang out.
That's so real. Yes. That's actually phenomenal.
That is so.
The merch ideas that are happening.
Oh my God.
Wow. It's really just a
Oh my
brainstorming
gosh,
session
yes.
for everybody now.
Yeah,
which
we're
is
actually
fine.
not even recording. We're just
For
here
2
to
seconds, I was like,
brainstorm
oh.
merch.
I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's
Oh
stuck.
my gosh, yeah.
We would not to interrupt this question, but
I think that's a good point though of like, that's all you've ever known. So it's you're kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah, it does, but
I've never had to really think about that.
Yeah.
Well, except for because I'm so stupid tall.
Yeah.
It's I love messing with. I'm going to reveal to everyone that I'm the worst
Here we
person
go.
right now.
Give it to me.
But we mess with each other. We have
Yeah.
a,
Oh, all
we
the
have a
time.
comedic rapport.
Yeah. Because
And,
I gave you permission.
that's true. Yeah.
So we joke around with each other because I gave you permission.
See,
Yeah.
my friends and I were always like, hey, is there anything that's off limits? Okay, we've defined, okay, this is off limits or you have nothing off limits. If it ever
Yeah.
gets to a point where you feel like we're not joking, you let me know. Besides
Yes.
that, fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love
Yes.
that because
It's
I
good.
love
It's
those-
important though.
Yes.
Yes.
Because humor is how I cope.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's how I cope with life. Making jokes.
Yeah.
It's great.
So like I'll
It's
go
great.
like whenever, which I mean being tall doesn't really inhibit me that much. It's fine. It's mostly a positive. But I love going like, man, Haley, you know what? I get it. This
This sucks.
this sucks. I think my struggles are
If not,
comparable to yours. So let me tell
know,
you,
it's great.
as a get it, I should get a disability placard so I can park.
because I'm too tall. So, you know.
Yes, he does do this.
Even
I
though I could
love
probably
it.
see my
I love
car
it.
from-
It's so great.
So anyway, now I'm canceled.
Anyways,
Anyways.
now I'm canceled within 10 seconds. Record setting.
No.
I don't- is
I'll
this-
speak on your behalf, George.
Okay.
No.
I'm chilling. I'm good.
You're good.
Okay. All right.
Or
Well,
I'll speak on. Yeah. No, you're
okay.
good.
Cool. Well, yeah. Is that the most heinous thing I've said? Probably not. Maybe at this point. Maybe it's
I don't know.
close.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's close.
I don't know. We don't have to litigate this.
Yeah.
What we did litigate the
can't
other
keep
day,
track.
I got to just bring this up real quick because we were going insane 2 days ago. And I feel like you would have been right there with us in this
Okay.
conversation. We spent, I think, a whole hour litigating what fruits and
It was
vegetables
yesterday.
would be. That was
That was
yesterday.
yesterday. At the library.
The shake in the breath there. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Loved that.
I know
though.
yesterday was a
That
very long day, but-
Yeah. Really long day then. Okay, so fruits and vegetables.
Anyway.
We were like, oh man, what fruits and vegetables? What relatives are what fruits and vegetables? You know, so we're like, broccoli and artichoke are the grandparents. You
Yeah.
know, grapes,
I
younger
was,
sibling.
yeah.
And I feel like this.
I was thinking about
this
that when you were
I feel
talking
like-
about stairs and being
I feel
a
like
brother. Yeah.
strawberries would be like the cool rich aunt. That kind of sucks though.
Oh my
sometimes
gosh.
though.
Oh, I see that.
But it's
Oh.
like, okay, they can be
Yeah.
really cool, but they're also
I mean, as someone whose favorite fruit is strawberry, I'm offended, but also I do understand.
okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
personally for me, my favorite fruit is banana. I have a banana like every day.
We
Love bananas.
said that was okay. What was yours?
what's my
what do you
interpretation
think-
of
what
what
do
a
you think
banana would
banana
be?
is?
Yeah.
I think a banana would be.
I love that this is what we're talking about.
I
This is my
love
fault.
what this
I
turned into.
apologize,
I don't know what's
but here we
happening, but I
are.
love it.
I know. I'm like, this is just a really fun one today.
I
so
love
sorry.
it so much. Keep going.
So I think what the banana would be, the fruit of a banana, I think it would be the kind of like awkward stranger in a crowd that happens to
Okay.
be everybody's cousin.
Okay. Okay.
Somehow, for some reason, I don't know,
Okay,
because it's
yeah.
just like so awkwardly tall. So it's George,
It's
basically.
me. I've always been called a banana. That's
Yeah, so there we go. So it's, I don't know, like I just feel like everyone's like, oh yeah, I know, I'm my cousin. Like it's gonna be, you know what I mean?
You know what?
I love this.
I think I
Oh
like
my
her.
gosh.
We didn't go
Okay.
too deep into it. We said middle child. You
Oh.
know, we said it was giving, but you gave a whole spiel, and I
Yeah.
think I'm with you. I think
These are the kind of conversations that my husband and I and my friends and I have on the daily. Like
Love it.
just this is my kind of humor, my kind of
Haley, we're not.
thought process, everything.
So glad you're here.
Thank
not
you.
alone.
Love this.
I feel like I have 2 new friends, which is great. Actually,
Yes.
4 new friends.
Yes.
love this.
We need
This
to
is
have
great.
We need to have a
Sadie's
Ulysses
doing her
and
own thing.
Sadie. We need to have a Ulysses.
I
and
was like,
Sadie.
I felt
Yeah.
like I have 4 new friends.
Yeah.
But I don't know how Sadie feels, and that's okay. Sadie's like, no, it's okay. We're cool. You brought me brownies, so it's fine.
I love this.
We're messing with you.
Yeah,
Sadie.
yeah, we're
We're
messing with you. Okay, middle child. I feel like middle child for some reason would be something exotic. Like, give me a
Dragon
dragon fruit.
I
Give
like
me
that. Okay.
a
I'll take it.
papaya or a guava, maybe.
Okay,
But
yeah.
the dragon fruit, same wavelength.
I
I,
like
think
it.
we're
I
cut
like
from
it.
the same
Keep it
cloth.
coming. I'm a middle child, so keep it coming.
Are you really?
I am.
Oh, I didn't know
So
you were
keep
middle
it coming.
child. Oh,
I love
I'm the
this.
youngest child.
Oldest. We got the whole. We
Got
did
the
it.
whole
Wait a
trio.
minute. Hold on. Oldest, middle child, youngest. Look
Yeah.
at that.
It makes sense.
We knew
It
that. We
makes
did it on
sense.
purpose.
Yes.
I meant to do the applause, but I did the crickets.
No, I think crickets is actually more appropriate. Sure, for sure. Absolutely. Anyhow.
This is what we're all about. Chaotic.
Yeah. Somebody say something dramatic real quick.
Oh my God. Honestly, I feel like my work's gonna see this and be like, wait.
You're fired.
They're gonna be like, you just laughed and talked about fruits for an hour and a half. What do you mean you did a podcast? That was gonna be really different.
Gosh,
and I'm gonna be like, you guys know who I am.
What I love is it's gonna we had some I think we brought up some good points. We said some,
We can bring up more. You can bring up more,
yeah,
please.
and you know what, we will, but we would, but it's no, we still have some time.
Yeah. I was like, let's get back on track for those listening.
Well,
and
I think this is what's
We did have some good points earlier. Yeah,
yes,
some good
exactly.
Stuff. Good conversations.
But I'm gonna cut it together so it's just really like it's gonna jump. I'm gonna cut everything in between, like the best thing that one of us said, and just put it right into the banana talk.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Perfect. This one's just really a mind trip for people.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Perfect. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna edit this like David Lynch. Anyway.
No, we should edit it like it's a what's the ones that dun 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 dun, and it's like the country. Okay. I feel really embarrassed right now. Cool. Jokes on you guys. So it's about it's time to go. Let's just bring up the next question. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. I'm like the dog with the fire in the background. That meme, you know that meme?
Yes.
Okay.
The house on fire. Yep.
So I did you so dirty.
This
with
is
the
fine.
crickets.
I think
You
it's fine.
did, but that's okay. I accept it. It's fine. Okay. Next question.
Yes. Okay.
That's beautiful.
You can ask me another question, or I can ask you one. It's up to you.
Oh man, I had something I wanted to say about with what you were saying. I just to continue the theme of bragging with Haley, because it's the best.
She deserves it.
Yeah, she does. Haley, like you've been through, like, not to bring up your trauma or anything, but also to directly do that.
Listeners, we're gonna trauma dump on you.
Yeah, we're gonna trauma dump your own trauma on
what we do.
for you.
Kind of what we do.
Okay.
Yeah. My dark
Chloe.
humor. That's where it stems
Yeah.
from. That.
But you've been through a lot of discomfort, pain. You've been through a lot, and then have to have daily reminders of the stuff that you're going through, stuff that you went through, and yet you are probably the kindest person I've ever met. So
Aww.
like it's
I would second that.
yeah. So it's just I forget, did I have a point, or was I just wanted to appreciate
I think you were
you?
just bragging and appreciating.
I think I'm just bragging and
as you
appreciating,
should.
Thank you.
As you should.
Yeah, there doesn't even have to be a point. Haley, good job.
Gold sticker, nice.
Yeah, but also I don't know how true this is, and maybe maybe a therapist would say don't say this, but I feel like some of the people with the biggest hearts are the people who have really been through it. Yeah. I don't know. Like you're very wise, and you have a full perspective of what existence in life is, and you bring kindness forward anyway. You have every right to be bitter, and yet you enrich people, So anyway,
Well, I really appreciate that, George. Thank you.
Such a soft spirit.
Thank you.
Just so gentle and kind.
Yeah.
And
And I also just want to say I really love that you see that and that you complimented that, knowing that I also have a very wicked sense of humor, messed up sense of humor. So you also see that side of me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So I just want to point out that you see that I appreciate that you see that side of me.
I get the full picture. All right.
Thank you. That really means a lot.
Yeah. So we've talked a lot about we talked a lot about Haley, and let's come on,
Move on. It's not about me. Let's move on.
So to the other Haley.
So now we're going to talk about me.
Let's do it.
That was giving Sharpay Evans for sure, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm out of the loop. I don't know. Sharpay Evans? What's a Sharpay Evans?
High School Musical.
Oh.
High School
Do you feel
Musical,
left out
George.
right now? Because you should.
Yeah, I should
Even
do.
Sadie
Okay,
was
I'm
upset
gonna be
that you didn't
honest.
know that.
I didn't grow up with High School Musical. I maybe saw one of them like once. So
I didn't grow up with TV, so.
what?
So I didn't. I had a.
TV.
Sorry, I apologize. I had a VHS with the first 10 seasons of SpongeBob. So.
I'm sorry.
So who's?
Where's the crickets?
I want to get that tattooed on me. Quote, I didn't grow up with TV. And then just silence. Pure silence.
You guys looked at me as if I had just like...
Which is terrible because TV. No, like I grew up with like playing outside. I think we all did, you know, but just the way you said it was just hilarious.
I had to kind of just throw it out there.
Yeah.
No TV.
Yeah.
Anywho, that's okay. At least you knew. You knew the reference. You got the reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not really.
That's okay.
I kind of just said
It just
yes.
matters
I
if
just wanted to-
Haley's.
I
If
just
the
wanted to-
Haley's
Let's be part of
got it.
it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I was just trying to pretend like I just wanted to fit in with the Haleys.
Do you want to redo that moment? We can.
Yeah. Oh, sure, Paul Devins. Yeah. love him in the
Anyway.
the Hunger Games. Anyway, Haley number 2.
Yes.
This is staying in for sure, right?
Please.
Oh, of course. No, the people need to know. Haley number 2.
Yes.
What is it specifically that hooked you in this industry? What grabbed you and made you go like, oh man, this is it right here. Is this it? Also, like, is this your?
I'll be fully honest. This is it for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is. It feels really cool to work for CVRC. I feel very lucky. I feel very, very blessed. Definitely am. But what kind of hooked me was, I'll give you 2 different kinds of hooks, because one was before I started the job and got into it and got my hands dirty. So the first part was, I'm interviewing, I'm figuring out more about what CVRC does. Didn't even know anything about the regional center system. Didn't even know that this building existed behind Kohl's. Confused. But I just was so excited to help people. And again, that is my biggest passion at the end of the day, is just to help others. I know that that's why I was put on this earth, was to do that. And with that being said, I was really excited to help others in a way that I haven't really truly been able to or experienced before. The only, being fully honest, the only experience I had working with this community would be like volunteering for Special Olympics in high school, or, working with them in class. They needed a partner on a group project or something like that. So that was to the extent of what I had truly worked with. I also used to work at a pretty high-end summer camp, and I was like a camp counselor, and then I went into their events and marketing and all that good stuff. But I also got to work a little bit there with IDDs, and it was hard because sometimes there was parents who were just completely unaware and did not want to believe that anything was different about their child, which was really hard for me to swallow, because, children need help, whether it's, just a mental disability or just a physical disability, or, it could be anything. They could have a scratch, but children need help. That's, your job as a parent. I'm not a parent, but I have cats, so sure. But like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so sometimes it was kind of hard to just kind of see that. And so my heart just like, I feel a lot of pain in this world, pain that I shouldn't feel and that I don't feel, but my heart hurts for other people. Very much an empath. But so that was kind of my only extent. So I was just super excited to like jump into it. And I'm somebody that jumps in fast. Yeah. And I come in fast and I come in hard. And with whatever I do it 110,000%.
Heck yeah.
And I have to avoid burnout sometimes and work on that, because that can be a lot and that can be exhausting. But with that, once I started the job, the second hook, it was, I got to, first week or 2, I got to highlight some really, maybe first month, I got to highlight these really awesome individuals of ours and share their story. And I was told that isn't really focused on a lot, as all the positives that we have, all the wins and all of these really awesome stories and people that deserve to be highlighted. And most of the time in the past, it was just all of like the negatives that would come up, whether it was either on the news or there's like something going on, or, like there just wasn't a lot of emphasis on, let's shout out some really awesome people, awesome individuals of ours that are just doing great things, that are just good people, and thriving. So with that, we have our Spotlight program, which is also something that you got to do this past month, which is super awesome.
So honored.
Yeah.
So, it was such a big honor.
Oh, I got you, girl. It was deserved. And so they normally just print off a little piece of paper, like the one that you saw of you. And for people that don't know, at our board meetings, we have the Spotlight. And so once a month, we find an individual, and their service coordinator will either nominate them, or we'll go out to the vendors and see, hey, is there anybody that's like really shining in your program, or that's, gone through a lot and is just killing it. So in the past, it was only just this little piece of paper that just had, this is what it is. They wouldn't even take a picture with the board members, nothing like that. And I was like, dude, and we're working on even revamping this Spotlight even more and making it feel even more of, just trying, getting swag and like trying to do some other cool stuff, just to enrich that feeling that they hopefully get even more. But I started creating like these really small little videos. I don't really have a lot of media editing, and like I'm a graphic designer. I love making logos and branding identities. That's my background, and that's my sweet spot. But when it comes to video editing, I used to make like vlogs in college, and I wouldn't post them because they were just fun to make for me. But it was like using iMovie, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But anywho. They're not the most professionally done, but even if they're just a montage of like images of the individual growing up that parents sent in, just like some cool things like that, it hooked me very quickly, because I remember one specifically. We went to their, and I am going to butcher the term, or I'm going to try to explain it, of where they were living, and it was like a care facility where, they have people around there around the clock. And I got to go video them, and it was actually a married couple who are both individuals of ours, and they've been individuals for many, many years. And they're like, they're older, and so it was just they shared their entire story with me. They shared their wedding photos with me.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I got in my car and I started bawling out of like how I feel so lucky to even be in the space to where I get those kind of feelings and get to be shared that stuff. That didn't make sense, but it's really, really cool. And so that I was like, oh my gosh, that emotional bank account filled.
Yes.
And that wasn't even intentional.
Yeah.
And so
that
constantly,
that
constantly every day. And I feel,
it's dangerous for a go-getter, because you'll just be getting re-energized as you're going.
Yes. And so that's where it's like, I also, and I'm curious on your take on this, is I do feel like that reward, that fulfilling, feeling of like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Like, and I feel good, but then I'm like, is that kind of selfish to feel good?
Oh my gosh. Flashback to episode 2 of the Voice of Ability podcast, where we talked all about this. And,
okay.
And
I honestly, I was really nervous to ask that question, but I was like, that does make me feel good. But I'm like, I feel like, is that selfish for feeling good? And it's like, I think there's also a difference where it's like, I'm also not like exploiting this information everywhere and like trying to monetize off of it, or like, things like that. But it still feels like I have this internal war in my head.
I think this is something that please chime in. But this is something that I've obsessed over. And one of the things when we talked about this, I was talking about how like the whole reason I got into, I wanted to be a teacher before this, and then eventually this is just, I wanted to prove to myself and to people around me that I'm a good person.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that because it wasn't about the actual doing the good.
Yeah.
And I like where it's at now. But it's still, I mean, it's not like it's not full self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
I am very happy.
Yeah.
And helping people like is so enriching to me, you know? And it's like, I feel so weird getting compliments, because it's like, I'm not, I'm being like.
It's hard to take a compliment in general, but especially when it comes to the line of work that we're in, it feels even weirder.
Yes. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think, where I've been, the pill that I've been that I've been slowly swallowing
Yeah.
is that it's totally okay
Yeah.
to be enriched by it.
Yeah.
Like, follow follow the breadcrumbs of what is making you feel good here.
Yeah.
Because it's
100%.
and there's nothing wrong with it. That's, hey, what a awesome bonus. You get to get to be happy, and you get to help other people be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about to run out of time, so if you want to give your input on this,
Sorry again, I'm a yapper.
no, oh gosh, well, I mean, we had a whole,
this is great.
Okay.
we did spend a lot of time on banana talk, but it was, that needed to get out there.
Yeah. We're
I think we
yappers.
all needed it today.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Haley.
Really quick. So, it started as well. Okay, so my dream for this podcast, it's started with what I go through, what I deal with, and it was just me trying to process just my life on the daily and what I have to go through, and the dream for this came from that, turned into, okay, how can I help benefit other people? How can I help other people going through similar struggles, dealing with having a disability, and and it really makes me feel good to do that, because it's not for me. It's not about me. It started with that kind of thought process, but
it's also a weird space because you're a consumer of this industry, and then you're also now working in the industry to help others that are like you. So you have that.
But I mean, I definitely, I don't think I would be doing it otherwise. You know, if I was able-bodied, I don't think I would be in the same place. But it definitely started from that, from my own experiences. But it definitely has blessed me so much.
It's cool to see how it's blossomed into what it is.
Yes, blossomed. That's a perfect word. For all of this. Yeah. It's turned into something that it's not about me. It's I want to help other people, and I want to, I don't know, just make this a positive, and bring awareness. Is the number one thing. For this podcast is bringing awareness. And
I think awareness too is like, awareness can mean a bunch of different things. Yeah. Like, like it can be awareness, and maybe that's not the right way to put it, but like awareness to what exactly can be such an umbrella of things. Because there's some people that could be so sheltered that they have no idea about our community, like this community. Right. Yeah. Or it's somebody that needs more awareness of like what CVRC does, or what CVRC, that's even a thing, or regional centers in general. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that there's just so many different people to reach, and you're meeting them where they're at by bringing on all these different people, which is really cool. So big proud of you over here, and just excited for you.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
So honored. Haley, I love you. George, I love you too. Like, I love you all. Love you guys too.
All love around here.
Yeah, I'm such a love bug. I wear my heart on my sleeve. But just thank you so much. This is a ladybug.
Okay. Oh, nice.
It's a ladybug. Yeah, that's my family nickname. But I'm a love bug, which is what they also call me.
I love that.
Yeah, the youngest. So just again, thank you for having me on here. Like,
of course.
Absolutely.
I cried about it later when after you guys asked me. Like, I was so excited.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
I
hope now that after you've experienced how silly and goofy we are,
I'm like, guys, let's just go get lunch so we can talk more about what fruits are other people.
Yes, please.
I know. Work again is
love that conversation.
Hi guys.
Yeah, but oh gosh, I will fight to ensure that the banana talk and the silliness is kept in here. Because I don't know. I think
it's a part of it. It's a part of who we are.
Part of it, if we really want to stretch it, is like it's just having normal conversations, being normal people, joking around.
Yeah. Yes, that's what podcast is all about. Is just having conversations about
helping each other get through the day and get through life, honestly.
Even if that means talking about fruit.
Yes.
Talking about fruit, Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like, that's really good.
It is really good. Yep.
Oh my gosh, we have to go.
We do have to rip it, but that's fine. We're chilling. Haley, you are you're cool too, Haley. But this Haley that's here in New
Haley 1, Haley 2.
Haley 1, you're great, I guess.
I'll take it.
You're right.
I'll take it.
Haley 2. Seriously, I feel like I've been in here for 2 years. I'm not the person who I'm not the arbiter of like what you need to make it in this business.
Yeah.
As from my limited knowledge and from what I've gathered, the things that you need to be successful and effective here is, a good work ethic is, super important, and chiefly a kind and empathetic heart.
Yeah.
And you have both.
Thank you.
In spades. So like
I appreciate that.
you
you
have
guys.
everything.
Stop.
Like
I could cry. I'm gonna cry about
you
it later.
have 100% what it takes to just
Thank you.
kill it. You're gonna be,
Thank you.
You're gonna be our boss at some point here pretty soon. Which I mean, it's
I could see it.
I would
Yeah.
scream.
Yeah.
I would scream and be like, Pam, help me.
You're gonna become the governor or something.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of issues with the whole fruit thing that's going to be happening. A lot of, you know what I mean?
Oh gosh, we're here at the ground floor of it. We could have stopped it, but
I have my
Instead
final
we
thought,
encouraged her.
and it's
Oh,
something
yeah.
that you said, which I think also kind of perfectly encapsulates Haley number 1, is that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And there's a lot of people, and we can change that into, people that are able-bodied and people that are disabled and not. You have to work harder just to do everyday things, and you're doing a lot more than what other people that, you know what I mean? And so just keep on that, because I think, again, you are the epitome of success as it is.
Yeah.
Just
my gosh,
so to
thank
keep seeing where you're going to go is just a really cool journey to follow. And I'm just excited that I was even this small, minuscule hour for talk about it.
No, you're important. You're an
Part
important
of
part.
it. So,
Definitely.
But yeah, so let's do this again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you
coming
guys.
on.
Seriously.
Thanks for trusting me.
Oh,
I
of
was like,
course.
oh my God, I'm new.
Of course.
So.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
We heard you speak for 2 seconds. We were like, oh, this lady's cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much. Thank you so much for watching.
I'm like, do I wave?
Yeah.
Sadie's not impressed.
Thank you so much for watching Voices of Ability episode 3. I shouldn't say the episode. I'm gonna anyway.
I don't know,
Episode.
2 or
Episode.
3? I don't know.
And then you can do voiceover.
Yeah. Thank you for watching episode. This has been. I don't know. What I had to,
It's actually just Zoom cutting in and out, basically.
yeah. And then Mama Shani goes to, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right. See
Bye,
you
guys.
guys.
Bye. Love you all.